Raptors Parade Review. So I have been seeing a ton of posts and news about the parade, but I have a totally different experience to share. First off, it was incredible, and I loved every minute of it, except for the Outlanders, of course. But the crowd was so jammed at times, I couldn't even cast a spell because we were pinned shoulder to shoulder like sardines. I was right on Mournhold Square, and the crowd was the tightest I have ever been in. Well, earlier in the morning, I felt my stomach rumble, and I knew a shit was brewing. I started to panic because I couldn't move and most certainly would never get this close to the stage again if I left. The crowd reeked of moon sugar and farts. So much skooma was being smoked, it was insane. But the farts were unreal. I think the pressure of us all jammed in was squeezing the farts out of us all. It was terrible. But back to me, I reached a point my ass was quivering and I just shit my loincloth. The smell was brutal. Everyone was yelling who shit their pants. I never said a word, but the Argonian right behind me must have known it was me as she was jammed right up against my ass. Anyways, the smell never left the whole day. And people were gagging and looking around. Fast forward a few hours and I felt the rumbling again and shit my loincloth a second time. This one smelled even worse and was running down my leg. We had a slight breeze that would blow the stink over to the right and I could see people covering their faces. I could not move, absolutely stuck where I stood. It felt beyond gross and terrible having two shits in my loincloth. So gross. Finally, an hour or two later, the Raptors hit the stage, and while we were all cheering, I had to piss. Can you believe this? So I said fuck it and pissed in my loincloth. My feet were soaked. It was disgusting. I was wearing my red and black loincloth, and it was absolutely soaked front and back. This Nawa noticed the puddle by her feet and started screaming at me in, I believe, Akaviri. She was standing in my pee. Something about that pee activated the shit stink, and it was brutal again. Dagoth Odros to my left was dry heaving and called me a fucking pig. I felt disgusting, but what could I do? I was trapped in a sea of fans, so I just made the most of it. I was worried once it was all over how the fuck I would get home as I had walked there and everyone would see my shitty and pissy loincloth. Not to mention my chest was soaked in sweat in the sun for the day. Once the presentations were all over and the crowd started to spread out, I noticed piss puddles everywhere. The presentation was awesome, and I don't regret anything, but damn was that embarrassing. Once I could move, I just started fast walking all the way home. Every stoplight, I'm sure people knew I had shit my loincloth. But I walked as fast as I could in the heat and eventually got home and showered and threw everything in the laundry. It was an amazing day if it wasn't for me shitting my loincloth twice and pissing all over myself.